Hello all and welcome back to Science Made Simple. In today's episode we're going to be discussing the topic of magnesium, the basics of magnesium, what it is, why it's important for your health, and some of the guidelines about how much you need and where you can get magnesium from. We will also touch on why so many people are deficient and what that could mean for your health. By the end of this video, I hope that you will have a clear and simple understanding of why magnesium is one of the most important minerals that you should be paying attention to. So magnesium is a mineral and it's a really important one. In my opinion, I think it's probably the most important mineral. Now, the difference between vitamins and minerals is that minerals are inorganic elements from soil and water, and vitamins are organic compounds from plants and animals that can be changed and broken down with respect to their chemical structures. Magnesium is thought to play between 300 and 400 enzymatic processes in the body, so it's a really essential mineral and it's really important for bodily functions and physiology. So in the UK, the NHS recommends a daily magnesium intake of 300 milligrams for men, that's between the ages of 19 and 64, and 270 milligrams for women, again, ages 19 and 64. Though age and sex can affect the exact recommended daily allowance. For example, if you're someone that does a lot of sport and you're sweating a lot or you're doing saunas, you will require more magnesium than the average everyday person. So I would personally argue that the NHS does not value or reflect modern diets and stress demands of daily life nowadays. So one of these points is due to soil depletion, so magnesium content in vegetables and fruits has dropped over the past 50 years because of constant agriculture and using of the soil. All of the minerals have become depleted, and guidelines I don't think account for this reduction in food. So they definitely should be higher, just because our food does not contain the same amount of magnesium that it used to 50 odd years ago. So another point is to do with absorption issues. So not everyone absorbs magnesium efficiently, so this can be due to age, so the elderly, gut health, so if you have dysbiosis, so poor gut health, that can significantly impact the amount of magnesium that you absorb, as well as certain medications may block magnesium absorption. So the guidelines assume sort of average absorption, which might leave many people functionally deficient, and they may not even be hitting the RDA, the recommended daily allowance for magnesium, let alone optimal levels. So modern lifestyle factors are also a huge issue when it comes to magnesium absorption. So stress, alcohol intake, high caffeine intake, processed diets and processed foods, and again certain medications. So these can include diuretics and proton pump inhibitors. These all decrease the amount of magnesium that can be absorbed. Something else I would just like to mention is that deficiency isn't always detected, so there are really poor blood tests for looking at magnesium sufficiency. So blood tests don't always reflect the true amount of body magnesium status, since only 1% of magnesium is actually contained in the blood. So doctors often miss deficiencies despite patients being within normal serum levels. So there are many sources of magnesium throughout food. These can include things like dark chocolate, nuts, seeds, as well as certain leafy greens, and also avocados are very high in magnesium. I said that there are certain things that can block magnesium absorption. Another one of those things is actually oxalates, which can be found in foods such as spinach, Swiss chard and other high oxalate foods. That's just something to be really wary about. They can prevent the absorption of magnesium and calcium and many other minerals. So there are many different health benefits for magnesium. It's really important. In fact, long-term magnesium deficiency can lead to oncogenic gene mutations being activated, which are essentially cancer gene mutations. So deficiency in magnesium is associated with higher risks and incidences of cancer. However, it plays a really big role in bone health, so people often think of bones as just being calcium. No, your bones are made up of something called hydroxyapatite, and which is calcium, phosphorus and magnesium, which helps form hydroxyapatite. So it's essential for bone health, it's essential for heart health and allowing arteries and vessels to relax, allowing proper blood flow. It also plays a role in glucose regulation, as well as energy production, and also nerve and muscle function. So people often get cramps and things like that. That's because they have an imbalance of electrolytes. So adding electrolytes in like magnesium, potassium, sodium is a great idea. Now, when it comes to magnesium supplements, there are many different types of magnesium. I do personally supplement with 2 different types of magnesium. I supplement with liposomal glycinate, magnesium glycinate, and also magnesium citrate. There are quite literally many different types of magnesium. So there's glycinate, citrate, L-threonate, oxide, malate, taurate, sulfate, many different ones. In a separate episode, I'm going to go through which ones are more bioavailable, as there's quite a bit of science involved, so I'll save that for a different video. But I would definitely recommend the 2 most bioavailable are definitely citrate, and the most, in my opinion, bioavailable is glycinate. Also, L-threonate is quite a good one, as it can cross the blood-brain barrier, so it's a really good one for sleep and focus. Personally, I like taking my liposomal magnesium glycinate in the evening. It's really good and helps me drift off to sleep. Magnesium L-threonate also is better for sleep. However, magnesium L-threonate tends to be far more expensive than glycinate. Glycinate is a relatively cheap form of magnesium, and I personally take it before bed. I do measure my sleep on my Oura Ring, and I have noticed a dramatic difference in my sleep score since supplementing with magnesium before bed. Something else that is very important when it comes to women's health, magnesium can be excellent at reducing menstrual cramps. So if you are in your cycle and you are menstruating, magnesium can be a great addition to help stop period cramps. So overall, magnesium is an essential mineral for many different physiological processes in the body, ranging from DNA and RNA repair synthesis to muscle function to heart health and even sleep improvements. However, there are lots of different ways of getting magnesium through food, but some supplements will be helpful for things like sleep, so magnesium glycinate, like I previously said. But remember to try and take a food-first approach and make sure that you're getting a diverse range of nuts, seeds, fruit, vegetables to get your magnesium intake up naturally. So that wraps up today's episode on magnesium. I hope you learnt a lot, I hope it was helpful, and remember, that was science made simple.